Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a great President's Day weekend. Hope you had an awesome Valentine's Day weekend. We've got some friends of mine, Josh and Brian, both out of San Diego, even though Lofty is out of Arizona, just in case you're wondering. We've got a full house today, guys. You ready?
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Ready to go.
Josh looks like
All-star
he
team
already
here.
started. He's like in the background writing formulas.
Yeah.
This is good. 3+
It's funny.
transactions a year.
If we could kick this off right now, if we're ready to go, let's get started. Hi, I'm Brian Hoyman. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for Lofty. It's great to be here with you again. Me and Tristan go way back many years. Great to have us here on Lab Coats. Awesome job. Thank you so much for all your support. And we have on this call with me somebody I've known for almost 20+ years. Started off doing websites together. We've been selling together. We've mentored each other. I consider him a mentor. I don't know if he considers me one, but the fabulous Josh Pano. A lot of experience on this call. So Josh, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
My
Josh?
background with Josh and Tristan goes way back all the way to Z57, conversion, Zerpal. Josh used to work for Boomtown. We've all been on this side of the equation, and we've also been on the side. Josh is a great real estate agent now and professional coach, and just all, jack of all trades when it comes to learning how technology to bridge the gap between lead gen and converting with technology, where this is kind of the biggest miss in the space is agents do not know how to use technology to not only convert, but actually leverage the business very well. I mean, it's great to have a golf club, but you got to learn how to play golf. And Josh is one of the best golf coaches there are in the business. So looking forward to having this webinar with you guys.
I like it. I
All
suck
right.
at golf. I'm ready.
It's funny, just so you know, just before I got on this call, Josh, I got a cold call from a real estate agent, asked me if I want to sell my house.
Nice.
It happens to be mentored by the great Josh Pano, because we started a conversation. He goes, "Do you know Josh? I work with Josh." How funny is that? All right, so let's jump into this topic here. You guys should be able to see my screen. 3 extra transactions per year, action plan, and making more money with Lofty. Now, 3 extra transactions doesn't seem like a lot, right, guys?
Well, it's not 100, but 3's good.
What this is really about is a formula for success to make sure that agents understand that the average agent, you could be a top agent, 40, 50 transactions. That's the top 10%, do 90% of the deals. But this message for everybody here on this call is the average agent, if they just did 3 to 5 extra deals, 1 to 2 extra deals a quarter, they would cap out. So what do we need to do to get to that extra 3 or 4 or 5 deals, maybe even just 6 a year? The average agent's between 3 to 10. So what's the message to the masses? Now, if you're a top agent, you're doing a lot of what we're talking about, but maybe you need more systems in place to do more. But the average agent just needs to be able to generate, 3 to 5 extra deals that come outside of their normal everyday life. Like, what can we do to do that? And I know Josh has some good ideas around this, and so we're going to go through that and answer any questions people have. So let's get started. What's the first step for success here? Let's see here. Is we need to have more. Don't need more hustle. You need to work with a playbook. Now, Josh, can you talk a little bit about the idea? Is agents they waste time doing things that don't work. They waste a lot of time trying to figure out things. This agent called me today. They don't have a playbook. A playbook tells you, I'm going to wake up in the morning. On Monday is going to be my lead follow-up. On Tuesday is my lead gen day. They need an open house playbook. They got to stop trying to buy a golf game, and they actually need a practice routine. They need to put good practices in place. So what's that playbook look like? So Josh, talk a little bit about that, and please jump in, Tristan, about this. I know you're really big on playbooks, but I'd love to hear Josh because he has a great playbook.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always obsessed with is if it can be done with technology and still deliver a high level of service to the client, and it's especially around a task that I know as a real estate agent, 90% of the time, I'm going to be honest with myself, I'm just not going to do it. I have to eliminate that task. Okay. And one of the biggest areas. So you know what I love about the add 3 transactions is that You literally can use this Lofty system and implement these things today, and without any further major effort can get those results, because you're already losing that business as we speak every time you go out. Let me give you an example. So one of the things that is incredible is an Open House Lofty app. Okay. And I know that, there's a lot of times agents will tell me all the time, they'll say, because I run a real estate brokerage and we're expanding and growing. And the most common thing I hear is, I like to use the paper. I hate the paper. And let me tell you why I hate the paper. One, it's easier to lie to than a lead capture form that actually validates and verifies things. Two, I've got to become the Wizard of Oz and judge whether or not these people are having a good day, a bad day, they're a good buyer, a bad buyer, whatever it may be. I want all of my leads to get the same exact marketing approach without any fluctuation in me, right? Because I'm human. I might be in a bad day, they might be in a bad day, but they're in the open house to actually look at homes. So I want to capture their information and I want to systematically follow up with them. The number one thing that you can do with a open house lead is give them more properties that are similar to the open house that they got out of their house to go visit. So if I'm doing it the way all agents do it, for the most part, I go to the open house, I ask them to fill in the sheet. Half the time they lie to me. I actually have to manually write in on the blank spaces. Otherwise, they'll go ahead and keep leaving it blank. We've all been there. Then I got to get in my car and I got to tell myself that instead of hanging out with my kids on a Saturday or Sunday, or instead of doing more fun things, I'm going to stop everything. I'm going to take that paper list and go ahead and put it into my CRM, because salespeople, we just love data entry. Let's be real, we hate it. Then I got to manually set up listing alerts. Then I got to manually set up smart plans. Then I got to manual. And then let's be real, I don't even have follow-up tasks set for that. So if I just literally take 15 seconds. I've got a video on YouTube. You can Google how to set up Open House Lofty app, and my video comes up and it literally walks you through a checklist and walks you through the entire tool. You can do it in literally 15 seconds when you have a listing, and all of that is completely automated. You'll never have to worry about a lead lying to you in regards to the lead capture form. You'll never have to set them up manually on open house alerts. You'll never have to set them up on smart plans. You'll get real-time behavioral alerts when they come back. You'll have automated follow-up. It's the simplest thing. That is a very small detail that is an example of a playbook that massively optimizes efficiency in an area. Well, let's be honest, 90% of the time we're not doing it anyway. What we do instead is we look at the list and we go, well, Susie wasn't very nice, I'm not calling her. well, John, he definitely isn't a buyer. I could tell by the shoes he was wearing, right? We make all these assumptions. And so half of our stuff just leaves out the back of the door. And let's be real, if all of us were so good at judging who's a good buyer and a seller, we wouldn't have the problems that we have today.
How about there are no such thing as buyers and sellers? There's somebody in a mode of potentially transacting. So go ahead, Tristan, you got a question?
Yeah, guys, this is live. Colleen who's asking, is this live? Yeah, we can watch it. You can also watch it on YouTube right now. Just jump over to our YouTube channel, watch it there. That's all. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about traffic times, lead capture times, follow-up. This is the playbook for success in real estate. I keep trying to say this over and over again. Tristan, if you're going to open a restaurant, you have the best food, the best waiters, the best decor, but you didn't market your restaurant, would you get business? You need traffic. You need people coming in the restaurant. If you're going to do an open house, would you do an open house without marketing it? You would never get anybody to show up.
I need the signs, man, at least.
You need something. So everybody in real estate, instead of trying to find a buyer or seller, you just want people. You want traffic into your store, into your flyer, so this formula for success, everybody does it, but they don't have a system in place. Follow-up Boss and all of these CRMs, they're not traffic programs. They're lead follow-up nurture, or they're back end of they miss part of the equation. What you need as an agent is you need all these three things in your business. So Tristan, I'll be guinea pig here. Traffic. You have business cards, right, Tristan, for your Y Realty?
Yes, I do.
If you handed out 1,000 business cards, that's 1,000 pieces of traffic. Now on your business card, do you have a phone number or do you have a scan code that sends a video of you introducing yourself?
I have a QR code. I do have a phone number. I have both, but nice touch on the video, by the way. No.
Yeah, and then when they come on the vid, and when they scan that, I know you have Lofty, so I know you can have this. Then that goes into your follow-up process. But you know how many times I get business cards from agents and there's just a phone number on it? There's no playbook. There's nothing. We're
That's
missing.
because they haven't talked to Josh. Wait till they talk
Yeah.
to Josh.
Well, this formula, the interesting thing about it, Brian and I were talking about this the other day where, 17, 18, 19 years ago, we were teaching agents how to take websites and turn the visitors into leads. And we talked about this formula, traffic plus lead capture plus follow-up
20
equals
years.
sales for 20 years. And we're like, with this AI game and all these new it's like, no, this is the fundamentals of marketing. So like, for example, we typically will throw out a mailer or a flyer, or we'll say, hey, we're going to do this piece of advertising. It's like, okay, that's the traffic piece, but what lead capture device are you going to get their information? Because if you've got a billboard in the middle of a desert and 1 million people drive by it, but you can't contact them, how are you going to generate business? Hope is not a marketing plan. And salespeople, we're all addicted to hopium, right? Like, we just hope that it's going to come through. But we need to make sure that when we send out anything, business cards, mailers, flyers, when we're doing websites, when we're doing blog posts, when we're doing email marketing, that's all traffic and that's all great, but it has to be directed into an area where there will be an opportunity for them to share their contact information with you. Right? I love what it said on that previous screen. It says, if any one piece is weak, then the money leaks. Because, if you're only getting 1% of the people that get to your website to fill out the form, if you modify that lead capture and you get 10%, you just got 10 times the leads without having to change the amount of money you're spending.
So,
and then follow-ups, we'll get to that.
Follow-ups, AI, guys, we're fired from follow-up. Okay. At the end of the day, the agent, we have our AI system, all that. What we need to do is feed Lofty, feed the system traffic. If you feed it traffic with good lead capture, you are going to make 3 to 5 extra transactions without a doubt. Just without a doubt. The follow-up and the AI, everything's all automated. So,
well, let me hop in here real quick, Brian, right? And like, this is something that you and I can talk about all day. AI is awesome and amazing. But at the end of the day, the tools that people need, right? So you're feeding traffic, you're capturing leads, and then you need relevant, systematic follow-up to convert them into a client. Those tools have already been in place for 4, 5, 6 years, and people have just been skipping the steps to making sure they're getting that. For example, the number one piece of follow-up that you can give any buyer that they'll open at a higher rate than any organic evergreen piece of content, any other video you'll ever do, the number one thing they'll click on and open up is what?
Listing alerts.
Listing alerts, right? Nothing will get a buyer to open and subscribe or open up a email like, hey, this might be your dream home. Nothing, right? And yet, so many of our leads, and by the way, every single technology, Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Real Geeks, if you remember Real Geeks, right?
Yep.
Follow-up Boss, this stuff's been in place for over a decade. But because we're not using the front-end lead capture that'll automatically set it up, we're missing out on that number one piece. Forget, like, yes, AI is amazing. Yes, let's add AI. Yes, let's add some layers to it. But right now in this market, it's more important than ever to feed the machine and let the machine give the fundamental pieces that every homeowner or renter wants.
So let's talk about this. So when we go in, Tristan, and we talk about feeding the system, feeding your business, you talk about traffic times lead capture times follow-up equals money. Traffic means Lofty Blast, for example, which is your on-demand lead gen that every single agent can do. By the way, that's all it is dynamic Facebook ads, but it's meta ads. It's the least expensive hyper-local ads. You can use your listings, these types of traffic. So there's paid traffic, pay-per-click, Google AdWords, paid meta. But agents think there's got to be something better to get a real lead that wants to buy now. What in reality, what you're trying to do is collect people. And so you have Google pay-per-click, you have brand ads, direct marketing, social media. It's about 4 or 5 things that you can do for traffic, Tristan, every day. So you can do a Facebook ad, you can do Google AdWords, which I'm not a big fan of. For everybody that's doing a bunch of pay-per-click, I'd rather go hyper-local to meta. But the point is there's paid ads. We can do pay-per-click. And within Lofty, anybody can have a consultation with a pay-per-click specialist. They'll learn how to do their ads. But the point is there's paid advertising, right? You do that, Tristan, you know that. Everybody here is listening to that. That goes to your landing pages, your squeeze pages, things like that. But what I'm finding the best success today in traffic-wise is through meta and social media and hyperlocalism. I know we've talked about this, but even like 300% open houses are up 300% because most consumers are trying to go to open houses so they can avoid a buyer agency commission, go right to listings, back to old school 2000. So the point is that you have to have some sort of traffic, and that traffic is ads, paid ads, but it's not digital ads. It's also direct marketing, flyers, mailers, your signs and your sign writers, your open house flyers, which was my favorite flyer in the flyer box, websites, blogging, social media. Every agent on this call, you should be focused on generating as much traffic every week, something new. So if you're listening to this call and your systems don't have traffic programs, then you're going to be a slave to buying traffic or buying leads from somewhere else. You want a system like Lofty that actually has all of this built in. There's no secret lead source out there. I'm going to emphasize this with Josh here. Josh, is there a secret place to get traffic that Zillow gets that we can't get ourselves? I'm going to repeat what I just said.
No, most of their traffic comes from Google pay-per-click anyway.
Yeah, they're mad. Where does Zillow get their ads? They're marketing on Facebook. They're marketing on Meta. They're driving people to their website. They spend $1 billion. There's nothing that Josh can do. There's nothing that you can do. We all have the same marketing. There's nothing special. There's just a systemized approach and playbook in your product. 98% of all platforms that are sold in real estate to agents today miss traffic.
Real quick, one question that I always ask, and this is something for the agents to just write this down. Anytime you're doing, so in those marketing campaigns, when you're talking about the different pieces that you're doing, one question is, what on this marketing piece is going to drive them to my lead capture? Where am I trying to get them to go? So if they're at the mailer or the flyer, right, and they're grabbing, or if it's an open house flyer, or if it's a door hanger, or if you're doing door knocking and you're dropping some material, what's the tagline? What's the call to action? What's the thing that's going to grab their attention and say, hey, you've got an itch, you can get it scratched at XYZ, whether that's calling me, whether that's using my Lofty call capture, whether that's going to a landing page with a lead magnet, some piece of value. What's the question? What's the hook that's going to drive them to my lead capture?
So, Tristan, most platforms that are out there with Lofty, it's great because there's a lot of people on this call that are with Lofty. They can go in, and so Lofty has once you decide what type of traffic you want to do for the open house, then you're going to want to land that on an open house, maybe an open house website. You want to have a landing page for your things. You want to have an online form. All of these things are how you capture. So market reports, listing alerts, dynamic landing pages, text codes for your signs, direct mail with a text code, your IDX website that captures leads through how they register. All of everything that we do in Lofty is all about leading people back to you. It's about leading people back to you, finding them to come back to you some other day and capturing their information. And so most agents don't have systems in place. They think CRMs, those are storage devices. Lofty is a marketing system. We integrate with Canva. So if all the agents listening here, there is no secret sauce to go buy leads. You either have a system that you control that is that you can take and put in your back pocket, your cell phone. It better be capturing leads. It better be making your phone ring. It better be giving you people to call. Every time that you spend every single day should be on traffic or lead flow, traffic or lead flow, traffic or lead flow. And the tools that you have should be built easy to use. So most agents don't know this, or a lot of agents don't know this, but a lot of the systems in real estate are about selling you leads, not giving you a way to fish.
That's a good point. I think with the screen that you have on right now, if we want to add one thing that a lot of us already partially do that we can really take advantage of is a lot of us already show up on social media in one way or another. And when we're talking about collecting leads, closing deals, and repeating the process, having a simple landing page that you can tie to your profile page and then refer back to in different videos will allow you to capture a lot more people on social media. Just make sure that you don't have multiple links. Just send them to one place,
You know,
so that you can connect with them there.
I agree. So one of the things I do a lot of teaching. So we have landing pages, squeeze pages, things of value. Now, when we think about traffic, people are looking for buyers and sellers. We start off by saying people are traffic. Okay. So think about this in a standpoint, and I've done this a lot, Tristan. You know, I've done this thing about traffic. What's the best traffic you can get? The best traffic is somebody you can take to lunch, somebody you can meet, somebody you can shake their hand, somebody that can create a relationship. That's the business we're in. So we make things a little too complicated trying to find buyers or sellers because they're if you show me where those are, man, we all have been looking 25 years of looking for buyers and sellers. I still haven't found that special place to hang out. Okay. Maybe open houses, but that's, a given. So what I like to tell agents about traffic, and if I were to go into Lofty and come into here and click into, you can't do it. It's not switching. It's going to stay here on the thing, is you want to make sure that your traffic is going through who is actively engaged with this person. Here's a great data. So your traffic, 87% of all buyers work with the first agent who responds. But that doesn't mean responding with, hey, would you like to buy a house? What this means is increased lead responses, 240% with AI bot, increased appointment setting with your engagement. But to engage, you need to have a lead first.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to steer your screen really quick to show Lofty.
Yeah,
just
please.
1 minute to take people through a simple process. Let me share my screen. We're going to take you through Lofty. Can you see my screen, guys? I'm showing the Meet AI copilots right here. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, yep. Got you. All right, so when you're looking at any screen here on the right-hand side, you're going to have a question mark. Go to the question mark, go to video tutorials, type in landing pages, and then you're going to have a video you can watch. This one's 6 minutes at 1.2 times speed. Watch that, and then you'll be able to create a landing page, grab that link, and then post it up on your Instagram, Facebook, wherever at the very top where it allows you to put in links by editing your profile. And now you have a place to have them download a playbook, have them download whatever it is, but it's through Lofty, so it captures their information. That's what you need.
And when you think about your landing pages or any of these things that agents think they have to create or build, we automatically, within Lofty, it creates that connective tissue automatically. You just have to go in and grab your landing page. But, one of the things that you can think about traffic-wise, Josh, what do you like to do? What's a hobby? You play hockey, right?
I wouldn't call it a hobby, Brian.
Is it a way of life? What is this?
Yeah. It's a way of life, but sure, yeah, we play hockey.
All right. So as an agent, Josh could do, and I know you do this, Josh, already. How about making money in real estate? All those people that go to his hockey games he works with, why not do a charity event? Why not do a youth event for charity? Why not create a landing page within Lofty for parents of hockey, and then join those groups on Meta and your personal friend groups?
Yeah.
Why are we not doing this? Why, in a space, do I continually see all these influencers and they're talking, but none of them are connecting the dot from what their meta is to everyday relationships? We can't be afraid as a profession that if we're going to work with people and follow up, I'm going to challenge anybody watching this, that they don't want to engage their friends with their profession in real estate. I don't want to tell people I'm an agent because I don't want my friends to think I'm trying to sell them something. But the reality is, I'm doing a charity event, but those are homeowners or renters. So
yeah, we do that locally here, where we do run a charity hocky event. It's our 5th annual. and it's called Stay Classy. And so we advertise, but we always have some sort of incentive, some sort of opportunity, some sort of way to capture their leads, right? So sometimes we'll do a sign up for a custom hockey jersey, right? It's relevant to the community that we're participating in. Hey, if you'd like to get a free registration for this hockey jersey, name, email, phone number, and if you have questions of finding houses or where to find the best deals in San Diego, you can opt in here.
And he could use Lofty to do this. Like he can go in
yeah,
the
that's
landing
all I
page
use.
tool. You just create all your landing pages, your charity events, your meta, your communities. Everything leads back to your business, which is your store. You want people to come to your restaurant. And then the follow-up of Lofty and everything that we do from a follow-up standpoint is all automated, where take this I love this slide. And for anybody watching, I love to open some questions, but take the 7-day challenge. And I would tell Tristan, your office and your broker, I would have your agents take this 7-day challenge as soon as possible. What are you going to do day one? Get some traffic going. It could be just a Lofty blast. It takes $100. You're going to generate 10 to 40 leads the first week of every month if you just bought that type of traffic. But the point is that do something to generate traffic. You're going to have a landing page. If you get traffic, you're going to capture leads, and then make sure that you just introduce yourself. You don't have to ask them that they want to buy something. Just call somebody up and say, or send an email or text saying, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Brian. I saw you registered. Just wanted to introduce myself. Thanks for coming on board. Love to help you in the future. If you just took that approach, you get a lot more deals. And then make sure that they're on an automatic nurture. Make sure they're on listing alerts. Let the system tell you who matters. So the system's going to monitor everybody, tell you who's most likely to buy. And then you're eliminating all the manual steps. This is all automated. And then measure, and then do it again next week, and next week, and next week. And every week you should be generating 10 to 20 leads every single week. It's that simple. If you follow traffic times lead capture times follow-up equals money, this is the simple thing. If you do this every single week or once a month, you're going to generate between 200 to 400 leads a year, and you're going to generate 3 to 5 extra transactions. You're going to generate a lot more referrals, but you're going to be building a database of leads and opportunities. Or you could sit around and wait for the paint to dry, or hope that you get, and hope's not a strategy, like we said earlier.
I like this, man. This is a cool challenge. You guys should run this like quarterly or maybe twice a year. Officially.
Yeah, that's just something. So a couple things, and then love the questions. If you'd like to learn a lot about how we build these playbooks and how our agentic AI is changing the way that agents have playbooks, you can scan this code here. And then if you like to learn and you're a Lofty client already, or a subscriber, or have a system in place, scan this code, and you can learn about all the different marketplace and traffic programs. And you can even schedule a consultation with one of our traffic coordinators that teaches you and walks you through the different ways. I don't know if you know this, Tristan, but we have any agent watching this can book a time with our traffic coordinators. They can go over Meta, they go over Google, they go over budgeting, they go over everything. They can book a one-on-one anytime they want within our system.
I love that. There's a pertinent question here for you, Josh or Brian. When we're looking at the very first one out of the 7 days, they're asking, can you expand on what day one looks like when you turn on consistent traffic? What does that look like for you guys?
Well, I'll leave it to Josh. Josh, it's Monday. I always say every agent should have, every week, they should have 2 days dedicated. One is follow-up Mondays, lead gen Tuesdays. Okay. So that's kind of my playbook, is follow-up Mondays, setting your appointments for the week, and then Tuesday, generating new leads, right? So focus on that. So if I did the 7-day challenge, turn on consistent traffic, it just divides on what type of traffic you're going to do in that moment. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the first things we ever do with anytime an agent comes into our organization, we map out a 1-3-5. And so a 1-3-5 is a phenomenal document where you say, hey, this is what my goal for the year is. These are my 3 pillars. Now, your 3 pillars, 1 is always going to be sphere of influence. Okay. 2 could be open houses, could be door knocking, could be canceling expireds, could be FSBOs, could be whatever it wants to be. Usually, if you only want to do 10 to 12 deals a year, you only need 2 really good pillars, or another way to say that is 2 forms of traffic to your business. Sometimes you can run 3, but focus on getting 1 and 2 dialed in before adding a third. It is very difficult. So when it comes to consistent traffic, to Brian's point, I've got agents in my office that I literally just tell them, go to Lofty and turn on Facebook advertising traffic if you want buyer leads. Why? Because you don't have to learn about how to market. You don't have to worry about hiring a marketing manager. You don't have to worry about how to set up the leads. You don't have to worry about how to set up the automated, and the whole funnel from traffic to lead capture to follow-up is completely taken care of from you. It's as simple as just pay them the money and watch the leads come in. Now, you may need a little bit of polishing on the skills to convert the leads, because these are not warm, hot, super qualified people right out of the gate. You have to build a relationship with them, and that is a skill set. But all of the whole piece, that would be a form of consistent traffic. And as you do it, your cost per lead is going to significantly decrease. I spent probably $30,000-$40,000 on Facebook traffic 2 years ago or so, and we went from $12-$15 lead in San Diego, which is very competitive, all the way down to 6 or 7. So your price per lead will get better. That's one form. A second form of like traffic, for those of you who don't have a budget, or maybe you just, the idea of calling strangers really just kind of bubbles your skin a little bit. Another form of constant traffic could be doing 2 open houses a weekend and making sure that you're circle dialing those houses and knocking on the neighbors and inviting them over to the open house. You just have to decide, using that 1-3-5, where are your pillars? It could be you're going to do a quarterly event for your sphere of influence. It's just making a decision of where are you going to actively make sure people become aware that you are in business and doing awesome things at a high level. That's it.
And so so doing something every week to be in front of people should be your cornerstone of your 7-day challenge. Like every week you should be doing something, either a Facebook meta ad or a network. So there's 4 types of traffic. There's paid ads, Google and paid. There's social meta, which is kind of like posting content on your Facebook page or inviting your groups and things like that. There's your sphere of influence and database. So you have your database and your sphere, right? That's traffic. Even though they're a lead, they're still traffic. Does that make sense to everybody on the call? You might have 10,000 people, so you got to engage 10,000 people. You don't know how many of those people are buying. You just don't know it because you don't engage them. And it's not drip campaigns. It's engaging them in traffic. Like I might send out a message to 1,000 people. I've done this for a local broker in San Diego, and he says follow up Mondays. I just go in and create a filter for anybody that's bookmarked a property alert in the last 7 days. It creates a filter, and every Monday I check in and go, I know that you bookmarked the property this week. I'm going to be showing some homes in that area. Would you like to see something this week? Are you still in the market? And I send out to 400 people, and I get like 30 appointments. It's just, that's traffic. That's just traffic. And then there's direct marketing, flyers, mailers, postcards, open houses, anything that's direct where you touch people. Okay. And, blogging, things like that. So traffic is taking an action to be in front of people. And by the way, 85% of all transactions in real estate, you know where they come from? Not the internet, not from Zillow, not from anywhere. 85% of all deals come from direct marketing, flyers, mailers, postcards, open houses, door hangers, cold calling, expireds, and FSBOs. That can all be done with Lofty. You can log into Lofty, all of your expireds and FSBO data, like the guy that just called me before I hopped on the phone. I said, why didn't you just log in your database into Lofty, create a home evaluation page, put them into a retargeting plan so that they stay in front of them on Google all day long and on Facebook, and retarget all of those homeowner data you're trying. He goes, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, dude, really quick, I'm going to show something again, just because there are some questions about leads, right? And if people do want to go that route, I'm just going to show them really quick on Lofty. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen, guys. It's back to Meet AI Copilots right there. I'm assuming you can. Let me go and show you under marketing, the very top. You see you have options. So think of marketing lead generation as well. You see lead generation. You click on buyer lead, seller lead, or remarketing, any of those. You click on buyer. For us, you're going to be able to see, because we're always running something. this is Google pay-per-click. You could run Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Facebook. And then once you do, at the bottom, let me close this down. At the bottom, you can then see how much money is allocated to what ad. And then to me, the most important piece is the cost per lead, right? So we can see one of them super high, one of them super low, right? But more importantly to me, out of the leads that we're getting, which ones are converting, and that's how we track. But you can turn this on your side. That's one of the other things that we love about Lofty is we could turn on marketing, turn it off, and just keep it going. So
you could turn paid ads. You could do actions on, posting an article. It doesn't matter, because if a car drove by your window in front of your business, that's still traffic. If you're driving a car with a license plate that says I'm in real estate, and with the domain on your license plate, I don't know why people don't do that. That's traffic. And
that's true.
Everything is traffic.
And a tax break.
Yeah, and a tax break. And it's funny because I was at a certain agent's La Jolla office, and he had a bunch of flyers in the window, and I said, how many people stopped by, but you didn't put a scan code? And when you're sitting in your office, the scan code, make the scan code big with one picture, not 10 photos. One picture, scan to see the rest. Why would you give them every photograph? They want to look at the picture. He started doing that, and he's quadrupled his, because they're 24 hours a day walking by his office, whether it's open or not.
Damn.
So we have to think, and we have to have the right toolbox. So for everybody listening, it's a Lofty client, dive in, take the 7-day challenge, go in, book a consult. There is no bad traffic. There's no such thing as bad traffic.
Good point on that. I have a question for Josh. Josh, do you help out people building out Lofty marketing, all that, or no?
Yeah, I do.
What's your contact? Because I've got a couple people here that are interested. They want to build out their marketing and just make sure that they're using Lofty the right way.
Yeah. Best way to contact me is probably just my cell. Depending on what they're looking to do, there's my, whoops. That's my phone number there. You can also go to our website, which is, so, I mean, I can show off some stuff if you guys want, of some of the things that I've built inside of Lofty, if you guys want me to. Let's see, share the screen. Let's go like this real quick.
One of the things, and as he's doing this, Tristan, is doing something's better than nothing, right? So Josh has playbooks and things. So if you're not spending, something, a minute of your day, 5 minutes a day, it all takes 5 minutes to generate a lead in Lofty.
So real quick, keep in mind that people talk about systems and processes like they're the same identical thing. They're not. Think of it this way. A process is your checklist to ensure that the most efficient outcome is produced, right? So when we go through a step-by-step action, certain actions lead to higher results, and certain actions, if missed, lead to lower results. Let me give you an example. If you put out 5 open house signs, or you put out 50, one's going to tell every single seller in the neighborhood that you're the hardest working agent that they know, and one's going to get more people to come by the house. Yay, nay, right? So the process or the checklist is, okay, I'm going to drive extra traffic. I'm going to set up those signs. Now the system is the tool that delivers the part of the process at the right time of the process. Okay, so for example, an example of the system delivering the right tool, like inside a Lofty, if I go into my smart plans inside a Lofty, okay, every single lead is set up with a new listing alert. Well, when they follow through on those new listing alerts, sometimes they'll request a showing, sometimes they'll come back to the website within a certain amount of period of time. And the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that the follow-up gets done at the right point. So, when we have leads that are returning to the website after 14 days, they've been an active visitor, they disappear for 14 days. The first thing we do is we send out an alert to any of our agents that says, hey, your CRM's texting and emailing your leads, keep an eye out, because we want to highlight that activity and we want to bring a heightened sense of awareness of buyer behavior that indicates a potential shift in their quality. Meaning, to Brian's point, and I'm sure Tristan's on the same page, quality is dictated by the source and where they're at on the timeline. And really the only reason why I say is the source is because it indicates what level of action they're taking. If it's a Facebook lead, the reason why people say Facebook leads are lower quality than Google is just because on Facebook, you're squeezing them for their information, where on Google, they're actively searching, right? So if somebody's sitting on their phone watching Netflix and then a cool house pops up and they're like, yeah, I'll take a look at that, versus somebody goes, I want to research San Diego homes for sale, I'm going to go Google that. That's a different level of action. So you're getting them further down the road in the cycle. The quality of the human being is the same. It just differentiates on the timeline, right? So the same thing happens in the CRM. When we're pumping leads and traffic into our CRM, they're all over the board. Some of them are low hanging fruit, ready to go now. Some of them are 6, 12, 18 months out. And when they get closer, things happen in their life where they'll say things like, oh, I finally got that promotion. Well, now that they finally got the promotion and things are becoming real, guess what? Their activity spikes. Let me give you a real life example. We may want to buy a new car, but as we get closer to November and December, where that tax deadline's coming, all of a sudden our activity spikes on the internet because now we're serious. We got to get it done. The same thing happens in homes. So we'll send out an email that says, hey, or a text message says, hey, your CRM's texting them. We'll send out a text that says, hey, welcome back to the site. Now, one of the things that we do with marketing, and I stole this from Brian, so kudos, I do view you as a mentor and I do take notes. But, one of the problems with automation is that everybody knows it's automation and it's insensitive to where people are at in the buying process. If you go to a website, and I'm all about speed to lead, but not at the sake of tarnishing the relationship with the client. So let's say that you go to a website, you fill out a lead capture form, and instantly I get a text message from Tristan within microseconds saying, hey, Josh, thanks for coming to the website. How can I help you? I know it's automation. It's cold. And oftentimes, even when I respond to that, Tristan just ghosted me because it was just automation. And so you don't want to do that. That's bad. So what we do is we send it out about 3 minutes after. Hey, Brian, welcome back to the site. I'm writing up an email for you about our off-market listings. I'll text you when it's over. This is going to lower your unsubscribe rates because I just said I'm going to give you value and I'm going to send it somewhere where I want to increase the engagement. After that, I sent out an email 4 minutes later. And the reason why I did 4 minutes is because that's how long it took me to manually write the email. So I'm going to do the work that agents won't do most of the time, but I'm going to do it as if they're doing it in real time as human behavior versus just automation, because that's cold and impersonal and nobody likes that. So then we'll come back and we'll give them some sort of value. So if somebody comes on my website within 14 days, I know they're perusing, they're looking around, they're not super motivated, but I do know that all buyers love a deal. Never, ever, ever have I heard a buyer say, I'd like to overpay for a property. Right. So the first thing that we hit with them is, hey, I noticed you back from the site. We spend about $500 a month on cancel and expireds. It's super valuable because these people want to sell, but they may not want to go back to the market. And we know they're in pain. If you'd like to figure out how we text, email, call, and hunt, because we're hardworking agents that don't pressure people, just let me know. Soft close, whenever's good for you. Play hard to get a little bit. And then 1 minute after the email is sent, we send a follow-up text that says, hey, just let you know, I just dropped some stuff in about off-market homes, buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Let me know if you need something. This is an example of how we build out the system. And I've got about 15, 17 others or so where when they engage in specific behavior, it identifies it. And sometimes, depending on what the situation is, because sometimes we want a scripted call. I also build in the scripts because sometimes you're out and about and you don't remember your script because you don't internalize it like a lot of us don't. So I go ahead and build the script in where I say, hey, here you go, make this call. And I give you the script within the system. So you get the alert, you get the system, you get the script, and all that stuff was built around what I did when I sold 33 homes in my first year and 50 in 2020, all around lead gen and all that stuff.
So well, I'm going to book 10, and then we can ask questions. I know people are going to run short of time on this, Tristan, but what we're really saying is traffic times lead capture times follow-up equals money. We just covered the whole thing. And what we're saying is behavior is everything. So I've been teaching this a long time. Thank you for the props, Josh. I know Tristan, I've done some trainings for you guys. is and the call I just did before I got on this call, he called me up asking me about Expire, and he made it about his needs, not my needs.
Mm-hmm.
Can I repeat? He made it about his needs. Would you ever think about listing your home? That's his important. He didn't even address what my needs are as a homeowner. So what we want to think about is behavior. The behavior is how the lead.
You got mic issues.
Yeah, we lost you, buddy, with Mike.
Sorry.
You're back.
If you have behaviors or all the signals that AI is popping up based on what they're doing. So instead of trying to find a buyer and seller, you should be focusing on the consumer's behavior that indicates, I come back to Nordstrom's and I'm looking at a dress and I like to look at it in the mirror. That person needs to be reached out to. But if they first walk in the store and you think you're going to call them up and go, hi, how's it going? Nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to buy a house? You're going to push them away. And what you really want to do in agency is do pull marketing. You want people to pull in. You're pulling them into you. You're not pushing information at them. So if you take one takeaway from what Josh was doing in all of the email, he was pulling people in. He was giving them a reason to engage and pull them in. I'm going to do some value to you. That pulls people in. It isn't, would you like me to send this information to you? Would you like me to do this? Pushes the material out. We want to reel people in. We want to attract people to my value prop to reel them in. So when we're thinking about your follow-up, and everybody here, think about behavior and pulling them in. I noticed you looked at this home on such and such this week. Going to put together some information. Would you like me to send it? I'm pulling you in. That's pulling that value in. And if you could take one thing on follow-up, push-pull marketing. You're not in the promotions business as agents. You're not promoting anything. We're pulling people in.
I love this, guys. All right. I feel like we need a part 2 to this one. So Josh, Brian, let's set this up as a part 2, maybe dig into more of how your systems are set up so people can take a look at that as well.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have people reach out to you. If you're not part of Lofty, guys, please take a look. This is like the best system out there for real estate agents. And I don't know that there's anything else better.
It's the best marketing system in the real estate world with the best AI. It's AI product of the year. We just launched agentic AI as well. People think AI is the panacea of everything. It's just it's taking away and allowing you the opportunity to create more relationships through traffic. If you know, it's taking the hardest part of your job away so you can feed traffic into that. And so that's really what this is all about.
Hey guys, I don't have I have a link that you guys can use. There's a lot of people asking about like, hey, I've got this problem, I've got that problem. And, you know, like Gail had said, first and foremost, I'd love to do a second part and go through, I've got playbooks and, you know, the processes for all of the core pillars plus the playbooks already built out.
Gosh, why don't we go over your top 5 playbooks and then how people can build those out, and that'll also get people to reach out to you if they don't want to build it or just use you. So let's just do it on playbooks.
We could do that, and if it's okay
playbooks
with you,
are everything.
I'll throw a link in my in the chat where people can go and. You know, you've got my phone number in there, but you can go there and check out that stuff because that's what we do. We just take where people are at, run through the playbook of what they're doing, and then show them how to build that stuff out.
Perfect, guys. There's the link. Brian, Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Take that 7-day challenge. Get in there and do something. Man, just log in today and do a blast. You'll generate 20 leads in 7 days. Just do something. Anything, just do something every day.